Requiescat in pace. This video is an overall video game review of the Assassin's Creed video game series so far. So the main story of the Assassin's Creed series. So this is going to be a spoiler-free video. There is nothing more annoying than watching a video and getting spoiled completely, and the story of Assassin's Creed is really good, so I don't want to spoil anything in this video. But basically, just to give you a basic overall feel so you get an idea of what kind of game it is, the Assassin's Creed game, which is developed and produced by Ubisoft Montreal, is a historical fiction open world action adventure stealth game. Yes. It basically encompasses all those things. So pretty much the overall story of Assassin's Creed, the video game series, is in the world there is a conflict, a war between two sides. So the two sides are the Templars and the Assassins. And in a modern day society, the Templars have become this new kind of modern institution called Abstergo Industries, and they want to basically take control of the human race, and their belief is that human beings cannot govern themselves, that it will always lead to conflict and disease, and so Abstergo believes the only way to save mankind is for them to control people completely. This is in complete conflict with the other group, which is the Assassins, and they basically believe in complete free will and individual freedom. Both sides in this series are trying to find what are called the pieces of Eden, which are special supernatural objects that have a lot of power and a lot of influence on people. It's still vague where they come from, but basically both sides are trying to get these pieces of Eden to control the world effectively. So in this main game, this is in the real world, and this conflict has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years between the Templars and the Assassins. And in it, the Animus is used, which is a kind of a virtual reality, I guess, kind of machine, where the person who sits in the Animus is able to reconnect with the history, with their ancestors through DNA sequencing or genetics or something, and they're able to basically relive and re-experience the lives and experiences of their ancestors. And yes, so basically it's delving into the past, into history, to try to find where these pieces of Eden, which continually appear throughout history, where these pieces of Eden are currently being hidden in the modern world. And that pretty much is the story of the Assassin's Creed series. So the characters of Assassin's Creed. So the main entire series, basically, the main character that has being constant throughout the main series is Desmond. So Desmond is set in the real world, in the modern world, and in Assassin's Creed 1 he's kidnapped by Abstergo, and then later on he's freed, and you basically go through all the series. And in it, Desmond, he has a very important ancestry, and throughout the game Desmond basically uses the Animus to revisit the life and the experiences of his ancestors. Their memories and their abilities throughout the game series through what's called the bleeding effect basically are transferred into Desmond, and Desmond is trying to solve this mystery of like where the pieces of Eden are hidden, but also to try to rediscover a little bit about his past and also his destiny. Desmond has some missing gaps in his memory, so he's trying to rediscover himself. Personally, I don't really, well, he's an okay character, but I find Desmond to be a little bit dull. I started to like him a little bit more in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood because he was used a bit more, but from Revelations, like I find Desmond to be a very dull character, so I'm not too invested in Desmond, to be honest. I'm excited about the new Assassin's Creed 3 game coming out, but for me, the enjoyment has always been through the historical characters that he enacts, and I find Desmond to be a little bit dull, a little bit boring. I haven't really been able to connect or become involved in Desmond's story. I don't care about him as much as I do the other characters. So Ubisoft, if you weren't aware of this, Desmond is dull. In the real world, you have a number of supporting characters with Desmond on the side of the assassins. So you have Lucy and Sean and Rebecca, and another character called Subject 16 who continually appears throughout it as well. So I quite like the supporting characters. I really like Lucy and Sean and Rebecca. I really love the interaction between Sean and Rebecca. I think it's quite funny and quite cute. And I also did like the interaction between Lucy and Desmond as well. But for me, on the side of the assassins, the most fun, the most interesting thing for me for characters is the two main assassin historical characters. So in Assassin's Creed 1, you play as Altair, I'll try and say his name, Altair Ibn-Lahad. I think I said that right. But basically, let's call him Altair for easiness. So you play as Altair, and Assassin's Creed 1 is set during the 12th century, and it's set during the Crusades, and you are, you're involved in fighting the Templars and the Crusaders, and basically you play as Altair. In this review, I'm going to focus more on the second assassin, who basically has been spread over 3 games, and he is my favorite character in the Assassin's Creed series, and that is Ezio, who I love, and his full name is Ezio Auditore da Firenze. Very cool. And Ezio's story is set in 15th century Italy, and during the Renaissance, and I really like Ezio. I really like his character. His voice actor is fantastic. I really love his animation and his story and his storyline and his experiences. I'm not going to mention too much about him because I don't want to spoil it, but Ezio is my favorite character and I really like him. So on the Templars side, the bad guys, the Templars side. So in Assassin's Creed 2, the main villain is Rodrigo Borgia, and he basically is this mastermind behind this kind of conspiracy that you unraveled during Assassin's Creed 2, and basically in the end you end up confronting Rodrigo Borgia, who wants to find and take the pieces of Eden and use them to control and to gain power and to control first Rome, first Italy, and then obviously the rest of the world. So he's the main bad guy in Assassin's Creed 2. In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, the main villain, well, the big, arch rival for Ezio is Cesare Borgia, and he is my favorite villain in the entire series. I love to hate him. He is like one of these villains that you just love to hate. He is such a, I could swear but I won't, but he is a piece of work, basically. He's horrible. He is, he's the opposite of Ezio, and he's really manipulative. he's got like a streak of like craziness and extremeness, but you know, he's rational as well. So like he's, you know, he's really manipulative, and he will go to any lengths to ensure and maintain his own power, and I do mean any lengths. And he's really, really evil, and throughout the game you're just like, you know, you really want revenge, you want, you know, you really want to take him down, and he's very slippery, and he's a great villain. He's a really good villain, and his animation, his script, you know, his voice actor is fantastic, and for me he was my favorite villain of the entire series. And yeah, I really love Cesare Borgia, and I was so happy when you finally confront him, and it was really enjoyable to take him down. So yeah, Cesare Borgia is my favorite villain. In Assassin's Creed Revelations, the two main characters, I don't know whether really they're, one of them maybe could be considered a Templar, and that is Prince Ahmet and Prince Suleiman, who ends up becoming your friend, and those are the two main characters, you know, like power characters within the game. Although I think the biggest weakness for Revelations for me is it really did lack this quality of a villain, you know, like somebody like a really that you could really love to hate. Like it really just didn't have that dynamic. You didn't feel invested in like trying to take out like this villain and protect people, and it just felt for me, Revelations, that the characters were considerably weaker for me, particularly the bad guys, particularly the villain. They were a lot weaker for me in Revelations. But basically those are the main characters. Another really cool thing with the Assassin's Creed, because it's a historical game and I love history, I'm a huge history buff, love it. So the really coolest thing for me was, it was so awesome because in this game you have, in the series you have a number of really cool cameos from some very famous historical figures. You know, in Assassin's Creed 2 and in Brotherhood, you have a cameo by Leonardo da Vinci and Niccolo Machiavelli. And Machiavelli was kind of cool, but for me, my favorite cameo was Leonardo da Vinci. Such an awesome historical cameo in the game, and loved his character. I also loved the fact that he was really close friends with Ezio, and that actually he really helps you a lot in the game. You know, he translates Altair's codex for you, so you can try to find where the missing pieces of Eden are. And he also, which is really cool, he invents like new weapons for Ezio to use, and even like you get to use his flying machine. And yeah, I really loved Leonardo da Vinci. It's one of the things that makes Assassin's Creed 2 like one of my favorite things about Assassin's Creed 2 was the really cool cameo of Leonardo da Vinci, and how he was really integral to the main storyline, and really loved it. So yeah, those are the characters of Assassin's Creed, the series. The gameplay of Assassin's Creed, the series. So I'm going to focus mainly on Assassin's Creed 2 and talk about the things I liked and disliked. And then for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Revelations, I'll talk about the new additions to the gameplay that I liked and disliked. So let's start with Assassin's Creed 2. So there's many things with the gameplay in Assassin's Creed 2 that I thought were really nice, really awesome. So the first thing is, I really like how Assassin's Creed 2 is a very open world feel to the game. It's a lot of fun to travel throughout the world. You know, it's really fun. As Ezio, you can you know, climb up buildings, and you can jump across and leap across to, you know, from rooftop to rooftop. And that's really fun. It's also really enjoyable to, you know, some buildings you have to climb up right to the top of the building, and then you do like a leap of what's called a leap of faith off of the top of it, and you sink from the top of the buildings to give you more visibility. So the movement is really fun to run and to jump and leap, and it's really enjoyable to navigate around the world as Ezio, as an assassin, jumping across rooftops and doing insanely dangerous, like free running leaps and catching ledges and whatnot. So it's a lot of fun to really do that. It's lots of fun. So I also really liked how in Assassin's Creed 2 there was a large number of different locations that you could travel between. So it was really fun. You could go, obviously you start out in Firenze, where you're from, and then you travel. You can go to Monteriggioni, which becomes your like home base, your village, and then you can travel to Forlì and to Venice and to Florence. So it was really enjoyable how you could go from different villages and towns and travel between them freely. Each village, each area, each town was also very different. One in the architecture, the style of the buildings, in the sheer size and scope of the areas. Also in the people that live there. The NPCs in this game are really fun, and I love how they do very much. Their AI is excellent, and I love how they react to whatever you do. So if you're like jumping and leaping between a building, or all of a sudden you're running in the street, and then suddenly like, oh, I'm gonna go up above, and you're running up a wall and grabbing onto a ledge, and they comment on you and what you're doing, and they're like, he must be crazy, or he must be some acrobat, or that looks very dangerous or something, and they commenting. And even when you're going around and you're dropping a body onto the ground, or you loot somebody, and they comment about that and say how you're a terrible person, and yeah, so the NPCs are really fun, and they really add to this whole like atmosphere of the towns in which you are traveling around. So it is a lot of fun to navigate around, and is completely open world. It's really cool as well the way the map system works. There are a lot of different side missions within the game that you can activate at any time. You have 3 main factions that you try to get onto your side. You have the Thieves Guild and the Mercenaries Guild and the Courtesans as well that you use. So you have like different side missions that you do for them, and other and then you have secondary memory missions that you do as well at any time, and then also you can go to your primary missions. So I like the fact that your primary memory missions are highlighted on the map with an exclamation mark, and you can start those at any time. So you can go and do some side mission things and free roam around the city as so long as it's completely synced, as much as you like. So the navigation is really fun. Another thing that really adds to that navigation is there are so many vehicles that you can use within the game. It's really enjoyable. You can ride on horseback, not in the city, but you can ride on horseback between towns. So you have stables, and you can jump on a horse and start cantering or trotting out into the countryside and follow the main road, and that will and then get to a junction, and it will take you to the town. It's also really cool, particularly in Venice, that you get to you can swim, which was a new addition for Assassin's Creed 2. You can now jump into water and swim, and you can also or steal gondolas, and you can go you can use a gondola to go through the city, and that's really enjoyable addition. And then with Leonardo da Vinci, you can also use his flying machine and there are a couple of main story sequences involving using his flying machine to navigate around the city. And you know, you can even like use it to come down and then, you know, loop down and kick somebody off a roof, and use fire to get more air. And so that was a lot of fun, those missions using his flying machine. So the really cool thing as well is the way the notoriety system works within the world. So you know, as you commit assassinations, and as you start to, you know, fight against the Templars and against, you know, the you know, take out people, you become more notorious, and your little icon in the left corner becomes increasingly fuller, you know, red. And you know, once you become notorious, basically anywhere, you know, if you're just walking in the street, people will already start to act, you know, you have a reputation, so people will, you know, you have a reputation, so people will start to kind of back away from you or act with fear. And guards and you know, soldiers will automatically act with kind of distrust, and will start to be asking, you know, what are you doing here, and start to harass you a little bit. But I really like the fact that you can bring down that notoriety system, and there's, you know, 3 very clever ways in which you can do it. You know, you can find a herald that's, you know, giving a speech or something to people, giving people the news. You can find a herald and you can bribe him. You can like go up to him and whisper him and give him some money, and he'll start singing your praises, and you know, how you're not this evil, you know, violent assassin, that you're, you know, he'll cover for you. And then you also have the officials that you have to take out. They pop up on your map as like a little red eye or icon, and if you assassinate one of them, if you take them out, your notoriety drops, like I think 50% or 75%. And then you also have now wanted posters in the game, you know, which are dotted around the world, and if you tear these wanted posters down, your notoriety goes down as well. So that's really fun. The really cool thing as well is Ezio has a cape that he wears, and within the game you can also change your cape. You can change it to a different like a different style or a different color for each area. And you know, within each area you have a, you know, if you're wearing like a certain cape, they'll react to you in a very different way. So I really like those extra little details within the game. The money system as well is really fun. You have your usual like treasure hunting style game where you go around and you have treasure chests that you open and steal, you know, from, take money from. You can also go around, you can steal from people, so you can walk in a crowd, and you know, Ezio will just be like walking in the crowd and reach out and, you know, steal people's money. You have to be careful though, because it's very easy for people to, like, you know, especially if you're notorious, people will start like pushing you back and yelling and stuff. So, but it's a lot of fun to like go around and try and steal from people. It's also really fun as well. You can loot people that you kill. So if you kill a guard, you can then loot his body, which is really fun. Kind of evil, but really fun. And then the other thing as well, the really nice system, which I really like in Assassin's Creed 2, is that you can actually renovate businesses and build up towns, particularly your own town, you know, in Monteriggioni. You know, you can invest in businesses, in banks and in artists, you know, art shops, and you know, blacksmiths and tailors and doctors, and you can rebuild the town. You know, when you get there at the start, it's very run down and very poor, but you can rebuild the town, and as you rebuild it, like you know, you get a lot of money back from that, which you can use to buy weapons and things. But also, you know, you can the people there will start to react to you very differently. So they, you know, they all start to know you, and you know, you're their landlord basically. So that was a really nice, fun addition. Another thing I really like with Assassin's Creed 2 is there are a lot of collectibles in game. So like most action adventure games, you can of course you know, you can go to the shops, use money, and you can buy and collect, you know, armor and weapons. But in Assassin's Creed 2 as well, the really cool thing is you can keep and store these weapons in Ezio's villa. So when you go to the villa, you know, you can go and explore, and you can have a look and see all your weapons on the weapons rack and try each one and see all its stats. And you can also go and have a look at all your different pieces of armor. As well as buying those things, you can also go to an art merchant and you can buy many Renaissance paintings and also store these things in your villa. So it's really nice. You can go and just enjoy and look and walk around and look at all the different art and paintings. And as well as that kind of art, as you kill the different people within the game that you assassinate, they become a portrait. A portrait of them is painted, and that is also stored in your villa. And you can go and, you know, have a look at their portrait and during the game as well. So your Ezio's like villa, his house is really, really cool, full of collectibles. Within the game as well, you also have a special kind of treasure chests that you find. So if you go to an art merchant, you can buy a treasure map. This then shows you the location of all the treasure in the game, and you know, you can go and find all that treasure, and that gives you a lot of money. And you know, and as well as that, there are feathers which are located in the game as well. They don't turn up on the map, so they're a little bit more challenging to find, but you can collect all those feathers. And I think there are 100, and if you collect all the feathers, you get special unlocked weapon or armor or something, which is really, really cool. And the last thing is in the game you have to try to collect I think six relics, old relics, which are hidden within tombs under the city. And if you collect all those things, that unlocks Altair's armor, which is a really nice, really cool looking armor, and very, very strong and really cool. So there are many, many collectibles in Assassin's Creed 2. So if you are a kind of a treasure hunter sort of game player, you will really, really enjoy that. And the collectibles is a really nice thing. Another thing with Assassin's Creed 2 is the use of eagle vision, which is very useful. You can use it, you know, you click a button and it turns on a special vision, and you can use it to find enemies, and they're highlighted in red, but also you can use it to find your targets, which become highlighted in gold. And this is really, really useful when you have certain missions where you're not supposed to kill anybody except your target. So it's very useful for those kinds of things. And your eagle vision can also be used to find special glyphs, special hieroglyphs, which are on buildings, on the sides of buildings and on walls. And you know, once you find this hieroglyph that access it, that opens up a new game, a new kind of a puzzle solving game, which are actually really challenging and quite difficult. So you know, if you really like, you know, to those kinds of puzzle solving games where you have to really use, you know, your mind and your imagination, you'll really enjoy those sides of the game. So yeah, and those puzzle solving, once you solve them, each puzzle unlocks a segment of a video, which is a huge clue or mystery, a hint to a mystery within the game. I won't tell you what, because it's a big spoiler. But yeah, so that it's really useful for that kind of thing too. Obviously it's called Assassin's Creed, so the other thing that's really cool about the game is there are many different varied ways of assassinating people. One cool way is there's a lot of different types of stealth that you can use within your assassination. So you can hire certain groups. You can hire thieves or courtesans or mercenaries. You can hire thieves and mercenaries to distract guards if you need to try to get something. And you can hire courtesans to follow you, and you hide, you know, within them, and you can use them to distract guards, and the guards will all start flirting with the courtesans, and it's really funny to see them do that. You can also now hide within crowds of people, any small crowd of people. In Assassin's Creed 1 it was only like groups of monks or special kinds of people, but in Assassin's Creed 2 now it's any crowd. You can hide within a crowd, so you can walk past a guard and remain undetected. There's also like certain spots which are like hidden spots where you can sit down on a bench between two people and hide there, and you can even assassinate from there, which is really, really cool. So there are many different ways of remaining stealthy and remaining hidden. The other cool thing as well is because of that, there are a wide variety of ways to assassinate people. So you can, you can swim and remain hidden underwater, and then you can climb up, from the water to a ledge, or even climb up a building. And if the guard is directly above you, you can grab them and pull them down and kill them and assassinate them. You can climb up and go behind people and stealthily, use your hidden blade to assassinate them. You can even walk between between two guards, and Ezio will do two side assassinations and kill them instantly with his his two hidden blades. And you can even jump down from the top of the rooftop, and you can jump onto somebody and instantly kill them with your hidden blade that way. You can use hay bales. You can hide in a hay bale and wait for guards to go past, and then grab a guard and kill him and pull him into the hay bale. So there are many different ways of assassinating people, and this is really good because it gives the game a lot of replayability, and it gives the game a lot of variety, because there are so many different ways of taking it out. Going in directly, killing somebody, assassinating them, or using a poison blade so they slowly die and they attack and distract other people. Because there's such a wide variety of ways to assassinate people, that's really great, and it does provide a lot of replayability to the game, and it's a very enjoyable part of the gameplay experience. So what things did I dislike in Assassin's Creed 2? So one of the main things I really disliked was the combat. I really disliked the combat. I mean, in the game, there's a wide variety of weapons that you can use. You can use, your short sword or your dagger, your hidden blade. You have a pistol, and you also have you can use a long sword or even a huge axe. And this does provide a lot of variety, in terms of finishing attacks and finishing moves. And some of the gameplay trailers really shows that, and they look really cool. But when it comes to the actual basic combat system, I found the combat system to be a little bit slow and a little bit clunky, a little bit tedious. One of the reasons is when you attack people, you can use your sword and you can go and hit people, and it usually takes about 6 or 7 hits to kill them. I found when I tried to do that, when I tried to attack a particular guard, other guards would come behind and hit me, and Ezio would start to lose his health very quickly, especially if there's a lot of guards around you, like 10, 15 guards. So I found what I ended up doing is I ended up waiting, and within the game you have a dodge system and a counter system. So I would dodge and hit, or I would I would counter their move and counter it and kill them instantly. Unfortunately, it only kills one guard. So I found what I was doing is, rather than trying to hit, instead, I would just wait for their counter move, wait for them to attack, and then do a counter. But it'd take forever. So I would be like, okay, come on, hit me. Okay, attack. Okay, I'll try. Boom, boom. And then I get hit, and I'd be like, okay, fine. Okay, today, hit me. Come on, attack. And and I'd be taunting and whatever, and yeah, and then I'd counter and then do another one, and then I'd have to go into the next person, and I just found the combat to be very slow and a little bit tedious. And in the end, I'd just be like, forget this. I'll run away, and I'll jump into the water, and I'll swim away, and I'll try and hide. So yeah, so I did find the combat a little bit slow and a little bit tedious. So I didn't really like it. The other thing I really kind of didn't like was the time missions. So particularly in the underground tombs, you would go, you know, into the tomb to try to find the relic, and you'd have like a lever and you'd pull it, and then you'd have to, like, you know, leap and jump through the tomb and jump from pillar to pillar and try to get through like this window or a wall or a gate before it, you know, before it closes. And yeah, I just found Ezio's controls like too sensitive, like really sensitive, oversensitive. And, you know, I'd be like, right, okay, and go through and, you know, giving instructions to Ezio, right, okay, jump ahead onto the next pillar. And then, you know, suddenly Ezio would be like, boom, jump, like he'd just like jump over here, or like jump over here. And I'd be like, that wasn't what I intended. And so, yeah, I would just be like, so many times I'd be so close to like getting to the next part or getting to the pillar, and then Ezio would just do something random that, like, you know, I hadn't planned. And I would just be like, oh, god damn it, Ezio, and just like screaming at the TV. And so, you know, it was a little frustrating. It was a little annoying, a little frustrating. And, you know, sometimes I'd be like, put down the game, I'm gonna go make a cup of tea. And I'd have a cup of tea, and I'd put down the game, and then I'd come back, and I'd be like, okay, and once the rage had kind of settled, then I'd continue, and I'd try and, you know, finish the rest of the time games. And so the time missions were very, very stressful, because I mean, for me, I'm not the kind of gamer I am. I don't really react very well under pressure. I don't like games that put me under lots and lots of pressure. I kind of panic, or I get a bit stressed or whatever. So yeah, so anything with a timed thing, like I don't really enjoy so much. So I did find those a little bit annoying, a little bit tedious. Obviously, you know, that's me personally. You know, some people might like that added challenge of like doing it in a particular time, and they might enjoy it. And if you do it in the time, it does feel like a really great achievement, you know, when you've done it. But it took me so long to get through those parts of the game that, you know, it was, you know, frustrating and tedious. So those were the things that I really, that was one of the big things I didn't enjoy in Assassin's Creed 2. Okay, run! Get left! Go! God damn it, Ezio! Seriously, Ezio, if it wasn't for your good looks and that accent,